Hey friends, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Kate. I'd like to welcome you to the channel. Today we're going to be diving into my 2025 goals, but first we're going to start with my 2024 goals and did I actually meet them or not? I'm going to show you the system that I use that just works for my brain. It's a 5-tier system. I have always been super interested in goal planning. I've used paper systems, I've used digital planners on the iPad, but I absolutely fell in love with using Notion. Notion is like my best friend, my second brain. I created a whole Notion template called the Ultimate Mom Brain Planner, and the page I'm going to share with you is my vision and goals page of that template, which you can also get separately if you're not interested in all the other stuff. So if your brain works the same as mine in a more systematic approach, keeping things nice and neat and organized and a way to track, then I think it might really interest you. If you haven't set goals yet this year, you're feeling a little bit behind. We are over halfway through January already. This video might inspire you. If not, just come along and see how I did with my goals for last year and what I have coming up this year. We are going to dive right into my 2024 goals and I'm going to talk about those. So I believe there's 8 main areas of your life. You'll see them here that you should track goals on. And there's some other areas, depending on who you are and your responsibilities as a person, you may have other areas. But I think these 8 main goals really cover it all. Spiritual growth. So for spiritual growth, I wanted to listen to the Bible in chronological order. I am going to give myself a check because I'm going to say I got 80% of the way there. I did not get to the most of the New Testament, but the goal of it really was to see chronologically how the Old Testament played out. So I'm going to give myself a check, even though I didn't 100% get it. I wanted to complete 3 Bible studies. I did the Encountering God by Kelly Minter, the second part of the Exodus study by Jen Wilkin, and Hearing the Voice of God by Priscilla Shirer, which I had done early on in my Christian walk or when I really started getting into Bible studies, but I wanted to redo that one. I'm going to give myself a check. So next, let's move to personal growth. I wanted to read 20 nonfiction books. I did that. I think I actually read a few more. And I wanted to get organized. Finances, photos, documents. I did a really good job with that. I think I'm at the point where I need to just kind of refresh and update those systems, but I'm going to give myself a check for that, especially in the area of my finances. I am super proud of just how organized I got with finances, to the fact that I'm already have all my tax stuff ready to go. Usually I'm like, right at the mark or even a few days late. But it's January and I'm all ready to go. So I'm excited about that. Health and wellness. I wanted to lose 40 pounds. I lost 20 pounds. And then after our friend died, I was just kind of like, oh, whatever, I'm going to just eat away my sadness. And I gained it back. So, and actually a few pounds more. So I did not reach that goal, sadly. I'm going to give it a strike through. Exercise daily? No. So you'll see when I get to the rating section next why I rated things the way I did. Home, we wanted to do a minor kitchen reno. We did that. We moved into kind of an unfunctional kitchen. It's big, but it just was not functional for our family of 6. And I was super excited to complete this minor kitchen reno. We just added a little bit more of a concrete countertop so we could have an area to sit, which I love, especially now that my kids are in school. I just line them up, give them their breakfast at the kitchen bar, and then do their hair and whatever right in the kitchen. It's been super helpful and practical for us. So that was my big home project I wanted to complete last year. The counters used to have like these little tiles on them, and we were actually having like ants build nests under them because it was so old. So yeah, it was disgusting and not cleanly. It needed to be done. Just wanted it to be functional. I painted the cupboards and just made it a little more my style. So I love my kitchen now. It still needs some work. The roof needs to be replaced. It's super hot. So we could use a little more ventilation in there. We don't have air conditioning here. So anyways, that is done. Marriage, I wanted to increase dates on a weekly basis. I'm not going to say we went every week, but we definitely improved in this area. So I'm giving myself a check. And then increased communication and connection. I definitely did that in our marriage this year. Obviously, my husband had a big part of that. Both of us have been really working on ourselves personally and on our marriage and just being more intentional this year. It's never been in a bad place. I am just so blessed by my husband. We've always had a really good marriage, but I feel like this year I can say we had a really great marriage. So yeah. Motherhood, more one-on-one time with my kids, definitely did that. I wanted to respond softly to my kids, so I actually had a habit tracker that if I felt like I responded well to my kids that day, I would give myself a check mark. And I definitely got over 80% of my days where I could give myself a check mark. So I'm excited about that. And then I wanted to enroll our kids in the Christian school and be done homeschooling. That was a motherhood goal of mine. There's parts of homeschooling I loved, but we were homeschooling out of necessity since moving to Central America, and our kids did a little bit of a hybrid of homeschooling and local public school, which is just 5, sometimes less, 4 hours a day. So they were graduating from that little school, and I didn't want to go back to full-time homeschooling. So I was super excited to be able to enroll them in the Christian school this year. So that is a check. Finances, I wanted to create a new budget and track it diligently. Big check on that. I'm super excited about that. And then career-wise, we have a business here. We're trying to grow a business where we bring in groups from North America, and we offer like a vision trip experience, or retreats is something I really want to get into. I'm doing conferences. So in order to do that and host people, we built a guest house. So we have a 4-bedroom guest house with a lovely rooftop gathering space that we can actually host up to 16 people. It would be tight with that many people, but it is designed to host up to 16 people. So that was a super excited thing that we completed this year. I also wanted to rebrand and relaunch my website. My work online helps to support our work here. At this point, it's very little. It used to be a lot more, but when I started doing this, it was always for the intent of supporting our dream here. So I would like to get back to that and just I love it. It's like this creative itch that I need to scratch. I love creating content and doing things like that. Finding the time since moving here has been difficult, but I'm super excited to get back to that. I am no longer a foster parent, so a lot of my content before was too specific to foster parents. And while I still want to support foster parents and adoptive families, I really just felt the Lord saying it was time for a shift into who I'm speaking to. And that's really just trying to teach other women to be faithful in their motherhood, their marriages, and their roles as women, in whatever God has called you to do. So that's kind of where the direction of my content is going now. And that still includes foster parents and adoptive parents, but it's just a little bit different. So my website is now faithfulmothers.com. I haven't talked a lot about it and really like launched it. I've rebranded and relaunched and made a new website and all of that. But I am still getting around to talking about it and sharing about it. But I'm going to give myself a check mark. And then I wanted to launch 2 devotionals, which I did. So very briefly, I want to share with you, because this is part of my goals. I launched an extra special calling devotional. It's a 30-day devotional for foster parents. So it has a little bit of my own story woven into it. It has some journaling questions in it and some scripture that you can go through as well. But that was a super fun project to do. In conjunction with that, I relaunched Fitzy Needs a Family. I created this book back in 2018 or 2019 when I was in the thick of foster parenting. And it really is the story of explaining foster care to my kids, because my kids were only 2 and 3 when we started. And the story of Rosie joining us through foster care. It doesn't talk about adoption at all. It talks about what a foster family is, what they do, the emotions of like, is a child going to stay? Is a child going to leave? But based off feedback that I got, it was a little bit long, especially when you're trying to teach younger kids about foster care. So based off feedback, I just made it a little bit smaller, and I redid the pictures actually just to make it a little bit more fun. So I was super excited to relaunch that. This has actually sold over 500 copies, which I'm really proud of my little book. So hopefully with the new one, it sells another 500 copies. That would be lovely. In addition, I also put my course, the Foster Coaster, into book form. I didn't want to keep updating the course as I am no longer a foster parent. I just wanted a helpful resource for new foster parents getting into foster care. Again, this is a lot of my own experience in it. It talks about what foster care is, adoption, kinship, the emotions, the roller coaster of foster care. That is why it's called the Foster Coaster, because of all the emotions of foster care, saying goodbye, all of the things, questions, my recommendations for books and publications to read. So I put all of that information for my course into a book. So that was a fun project for me as well. I feel like I should get 2 check marks for this. I also launched Heartfelt Connections, and with that, Heartfelt Conversations. So this is a family devotional designed to do with your kids, and it gives you a nice little devotional. This one, for example, is on love and respect. It gives you scripture, and then it gives you some practical applications and also some reflection questions. So for example, how can we practice patience and kindness more effectively in our family? Some of the other topics are encouraging each other, effective communication, family worship, teaching your children, sharing your faith. So there's some great family topics to talk about. With that, there's also Heartfelt Connections, which is designed to be a 5-year journal. So it's got a whole bunch of questions in it, but how do you envision your future in 5 years? So it gives you a date to answer it for this year. You can go back year after year and see how your kids' questions have changed. Or if you've got a lot of kids and you want them all to fill out how they would answer that question. You can use it in a variety of ways, but it's just meant to open the conversation with your children after school, around the dinner table, just to be more connected as a family. Oh yeah, if you don't know, I have a lot of resources available on Amazon for family connection, devotionals, planning, connection with your kids, things like that. Homeschool planner, lots of fun options to be more intentional with your family. So in saying all of that, let's dive into my 2025 goals. Okay, so welcome to the vision and goals section of the Ultimate Mom Brain Planner. So I've created a 5-tier system that goes from the top to the bottom, how you're going to achieve goals. But the biggest part that you need to start with is reflection. You can't just set goals out of nowhere. You need to reflect where you are, how you felt, all of those things, which we'll go through, and then a vision for the new year. So this first section of the planner is just that. There's a bucket list on here, a word of the year, verse of the year, and all of this is nice and neatly tied up in these little toggle sections so that you can focus on your goals, but just come back when you want to focus on reflection, your vision, reminding yourself where you're at, why you want what you want, that sort of thing. So for me, this reflection section here, I have 2 tables, basically 2 databases. And the reason I'm doing it in database form is because I want to see my answer for 2024, 2025, and go on and go on. And I just want to see the development of that through the year. So what is my favorite thing that happened this year? We built a beautiful guest house. I talked a little bit about that. What am I proud of accomplishing? Growth in our vision. I just want to pause here. If you know me in real life, there is a big part of my life that I do not talk about online. I'm going to call that Project H. If you know me in real life, you know what that is, but I don't share a lot about that. So if some of these answers seem vague, that's why. So what went well? Having a dedicated workspace in the she shed, which is where I am right now. When all of us are around all of the time and I'm getting constantly interrupted by my kids, homeschooling, my husband needs something, just the way my brain works, I needed a quiet space to be able to just retreat to and be like, okay, I need to get my work done. I need to focus on these things without being interrupted. So having this little space has been a dream for me. Also, what went well? Strengthening relationship with, it says the friends because I changed their name in here to protect their privacy, but strengthening relationship with friends here. You know, when you live so far away from family, you've left all your core strong friends. It can be hard to make new friendships. So we have a new family that we're really gotten really close to this last year, and I'm just so grateful for them. And then what else went well was focusing on doing less better. I feel like when we moved here, it was just like, I got to start all these things. I got to do all these things. And it was just focusing on doing less better and being more intentional. So what did I love about my life? I think this is a great question. I loved being creative, especially at the end of the year when I started to work on relaunching my website. And I did a lot of this before I moved here, and I just kind of like fell to the wayside in all of the new things God was calling us to do. So yeah, just being creative, building our businesses both here and online, and then traveling. My happiest moment, what a great question. Travels to Canada. I mean, we love living here. This is home. There's so much that we love about living here, but our people, our family are still at home, and we were able to go home twice this year. I actually surprised my entire family for Christmas. That video is going to be coming up on the channel in the next little bit, so watch for that. But it was super fun just to see the people we love so much twice in a year. What habit or routine worked well? Communicating better with Greg. We would have, family meetings, but we set the intention to be super intentional this year. Every Sunday, almost every Sunday, we would have a family meeting with our family meeting planner. That's another resource that I created. And that has just been super helpful with communicating with Greg, making sure we're not missing anything. Our lives are busy. We're called to do a lot of things. So that has been super helpful. And also weekly finance check-ins. I tracked, like I said, in my 2024 goals, I tracked my finances religiously this year. And it's just been so great because I have several businesses, just a lot of finance stuff I need to track, and I'm ready to do my taxes. So I'm super excited about that. How did I spend the majority of the time? I feel like I had a good balance of family, work, and later in the year, adding my creative work online back in and creating resources and books. I love doing that kind of stuff. So what surprised me, we actually have friends moving here to work with us, friends that we met in 2022. Yes, friends that we met here in 2022, but actually happened to live just half an hour from our hometown in Canada. Uh, it's totally a God thing, but yeah, they're moving here to work with us, and they should be here in the next couple months. So that's just like surprising and mind blowing and exciting all at once. And then also discovering my talents within vision and operations. I've always been a dreamer, but I think just putting the word like visionary to the way my brain works has just been helpful this year. I'm really good at seeing big picture things, planning out things. I'm not so great at the consistency and executing of all the things, but I am good at seeing everything that needs to be done. And I've just had other people identify that in me this year, which has just been something helpful that I've learned. What do I want to do differently this year? My biggest goal is to become a fit person. I want to be like, wow, I'm a fit person. I used to be a very fit person. I am no longer. So yeah, I want to get there. I failed my health and wellness goals last year. So I really want to become a fit person this year. And then what one word describes last year? I want to say trying and triumphant. So in March, I think I mentioned already, our friend passed away. And that was just trying emotionally. It was very difficult. It was one of our closest friends here, and we've only lived here 4 years, right? So haven't known him super long, but he was so involved in so many aspects of our life that just kind of tainted the entire year. One of the biggest ways and why it was so trying is because he was our architect and project manager, and he died 2 weeks into our building project, our guest house project. So not only was losing him emotionally hard, but it was also hard in that aspect of our work. It was just really trying. His right hand man stepped in, and after about a month, we reconvened working on the guest house, but it was really hard without him. Now, in saying that, it's done, and we've got this beautiful building. It's dedicated to him. We've got a wonderful plaque with his face on it on the front. So there was triumph at the end of the year, but it was a trying year. So we'll leave that there. Okay. The second part of this is your life area rating. So in those 8 areas of your life that I mentioned in the 2024 section, how do you rate them? And again, this is in table form because I want to see how I rate them year after year and how that changes. So 8, I feel like career-wise, I'm super excited to be back creating products and resources to encourage and inspire other moms. I feel like that's a big part of my calling, both here, but also online. And yeah, I'm just excited to be back doing that. And our guest house, like just things with our business here are starting to get going after like a lot of years, like 4 years of building. I feel like we're past the building stage, and we're like just in an exciting stage in our career. Finances 5. That is because the guest house project ended up costing a lot more money than we anticipated. With the passing of our friend, it just was a lot more complicated. There was more errors. There was just a lot more costs associated than we expected. So we had to unfortunately obtain some debt. Now, in saying that, we are mortgage free. We don't have any car loans, anything like that. So prior to that, we were completely debt free. So my finances are 5 because I hate to be in debt. And we had to take on debt for this guest house. So that's a big goal for this year. Again, we'll get there in a sec. Home 9, I'm super happy with our home. It was just really making it functional, making it homey. I'm super happy with the way it is, and I'm giving that a 9 this year. The next 3, I feel like I'm super content in all these areas, but they're also the 3 most important areas. So there's always room for growth. So I gave them all a rating of 7. And then health and wellness 3, because I failed on my goals big time last year. I'm not at all where I want to be health and wellness wise. So I'm working on that big time this year. And then personal growth 7. Again, I'm happy with where I'm at, the books that I've read. There's definitely room for improvement there as well. I think you should give yourself a rating in those areas of your life and just see how that rating shapes what you choose to focus on in 2025. I'm going to close up this toggle. I'm not going to go through all of these for time's sake. 2025 vision. So this is my vision board that I've created based off my goals. It doesn't really make sense because I haven't talked about my goals with you. There's also another one here, and these are both templates that you can use to create your own vision board if you want in Canva. So if you get this Notion template, that is included. And then I have this little visualization time. So I have some action words here, and these are kind of values or actions that I want to give or do in my life. So I just like to read those. I press play on this little thing. Maybe I'll just press play for a second so you can hear. Anyways, it's just a little 3-minute thing that I like to do, and I like to think over these words. And then my best self. So what does my best self look like? I work out daily. I have time to create every day. I have a connected and fun marriage, and I respond sweetly to my kids despite frustration. So this is despite all of the other things, career and whatever, what does my best self look and feel like? And then I also have some more pictures here. Again, focusing on weight loss this year because I just really want to get healthy and fit. So I have a few images that I pulled from Pinterest there. Next, I have this bucket list. So I want to be able to take yearly trips to Canada to see my people. I want to buy a cabin. I want to buy a beach house, and that's part of expanding our business here. I want to travel Europe with our family. I'd love to do a European cruise. Lilia really wants to go to Paris for her 16th birthday. She's been talking about that literally since she was 5. I'd love to go to Disney. I just think it would be fun to do. I've never been. I would also like to develop a full-blown paper organization and journal company. I love to create these kinds of products. If you watched in the beginning, I showed some of the products I created in 2024, but I would love to have that a full-blown thing. I also like to start a nonprofit organization. These are just like bucket list big things. Who knows if they'll ever happen, right? Open an adventure park and retreat center. That is something we're working on. We do need more property. So we are praying for that. We do need more property to make it a goal, but we're doing that on like a mini minor scale at the moment. I also would love to open a salon and boutique. I think I would be really good at it. I just don't want to run the day-to-day operations. But with my experience in the past, I would love to do that. And you'll see one of my long-term goals is to be able to employ people. So that's where a lot of this comes. And then I'd also love to open a kids' play place and cafe. I think these are all fun ideas. I don't know what the Lord has for me, but they're all dreams that have been laid on my heart. I know I won't be able to do them all and do them all well. So we'll see as time progresses, but I'm putting them on my bucket list. I would also love to attend the She Speaks conference. I've attended it virtually, I think the last 3, maybe 4 years, but I'd love to actually go in person. Another big one of my dreams is at the bottom there to write a book and just develop my communication skills in the work that I've been called to do. I have to do a lot of communicating. So I think it would be fun to attend that conference. I love conferences. Wouldn't it be nice, Liz? I'm not going to go on, but wouldn't it be nice if I could meet a need without thinking twice? So because I live in a developing nation, there's a lot of needs around me all the time. And I would love to just be able to meet needs left, right, and center. And that really comes down to financial freedom. Development, I'm not going to go through this all again just for time, but habits to build, skills to improve, values to stay rooted in, weaknesses to improve. So these are just some things that I'm not great at. I'm weak at. Balancing detail with the big picture, adaptability and flexibility. I like my plans. Late night snacking. One of the reasons I didn't reach my weight loss goals last year. So yeah. And then there's a place for affirmations. Again, not going to read this all for time's sake. This video will take forever. Verse of the year. My verse of the year this year is commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. That is Proverbs 16:3. The word of the year that the Lord has given me is lead. I was wrestling with some words, but this just kept being impressed on my heart. Like, your word is lead, Kate. I meant to lead this year. I lead in a lot of aspects of my life. I'm not going to detail them all here, but it's like the Lord just keeps calling me to lead things. So I want to make sure I'm leading and leading well and leading in the image of Christ. So that is my word for this year. Achieving my goals feels like confidence, commitment, and growth. I just think it's important to connect feelings sometimes to what achieving your goals would feel like. So I like to just do that. And then I choose. So this is just my I choose statement for this year, because I think God gives us free will. He gives us choice in everything. So this year I'm choosing to live with intentionality, making deliberate and mindful decisions that align with my values, mission, and faith. I commit to balancing my personal and professional life, empowering my team, and continuously growing in my spiritual and personal journey through intentional actions and trusting God's plan. I will create a meaningful impact and fulfill my purpose. So that's just another affirmation or intention statement that I just come and read over that. So let's close these all up so they are nice and neat again. Okay, so this is, a little raw and real and vulnerable, but hey, maybe you can hold me accountable in some of these things this year. But this is just like long-term or identity goals. First and foremost, I want people to say, like, I see the fruit of the Spirit in my life. Like, I want people to say that about me. And it's not about trying to impress people, but trying to live for an audience of one and living for God. And I believe that if I do that, that the fruit of the Spirit is going to be evident in me to others around me. So this votes section, I attach tasks to it, and I can give myself votes on that identity. And that is based off James Clear, Atomic Habits. He's saying every task you do towards a goal is a vote in the direction of the person you want to become or the identity you want to become. So I have this fun little vote section. Bilingual. Obviously, I live in a Spanish-speaking country, and 4 years in, I'm still not bilingual. It's a big pain point of mine. I just want to be able to communicate. So that is a big long-term and identity-based goal. I want to be a smart business owner. I feel like God has given me a lot of dreams and a lot of things to manage and lead, like I was sharing, but I want to be a smart business owner. I want to do things well. I don't want to focus on the wrong things. I'm a fit person. Again, that is my goal. I want to be a fit person. I am inching my way to 40. I'm 38, so I'm inching my way to 40, and I feel like just like going into my 40s, I want to be a fit person, which ties into my one of my other goals, which is down here. I am a surfer. I live 30, 40 minutes from the ocean. It's one of the most beautiful surfing beaches. And every time I go there, I look at the surfers and I just think, I wish I could do that. I've always thought it was a cool sport. I would love to be able to do it and be fit enough to do it. So that is on my long-term goals. I'd also love to employ 10 to 50 people. We have 2 employees now. I just love to be able to create businesses that employ people that provide for their families, especially in the circumstance where I live in a developing nation. How great would it be that I have businesses, multiple businesses that I can actually employ people? So I don't know what that number is because I don't exactly know all the businesses yet, but a minimum of 10, but maybe up to 50 people. So that will be refined. God will tell me exactly what that number is as the time goes on. Financial freedom, again, that goes back to my wouldn't it be nice list. I would love to be able to just travel with ease, not have to think about it, not have to budget and scrimp and save so hard. I also would love to be able to meet needs. I just want to be in a place of complete financial freedom. Open an adventure camp and retreat center. So that is something that we're working on. Like I said, we do need more space, but it's a long-term vision or goal. If you want to pray with me for the surrounding property around our building, it's a vacant property. It used to be a horse farm. So it's got these beautiful stables back there, and then it's just bush basically. But I have these visions of like a treetop track or a dirt bike thing. Like living in a developing nation, there's so many ideas, so many things I could do with it. And I just think that it'd be really cool to have that and to not only have tourists come to it, but to have the locals be able to experience and enjoy it as well. Huge dream of mine. The Faithful Mothers Paper Company. Again, I would like to develop this. It is basically completely on Amazon right now. I would just love to be able to develop that company even further. Right now, it just makes me a small income, but I would love to be able to develop it and be able to hire people to help me with it. And yeah, I just love creating and designing those products. So I already talked about Surfer. Open a salon and spa. Again, I briefly touched on that. I'd like to get my bachelor's degree. I got a business certificate in aesthetics and business in college, but I never got a degree. And you just never know where life is going to take you. And I love to learn. I'd love to get a degree in either leadership, business, or maybe even like a theology, women's ministry degree. I don't know. I have zero funds to fund that dream right now, but it's still on my list to do one day. Maybe when my kids don't need me as much, I'm still very much in mom mode. So that is on the list for one day. And then finally, to be a speaker and author. I've already been called to speak in a variety of ways, but I would just love to develop that. And I just think that's a really cool job to travel to places. I love conferences, retreats. I love inspiring and encouraging people. And I don't know, I see that in my future. Okay, so those are my long-term and identity-based goals. From there, we're moving into the yearly goals that I have set for 2025. So in each area of your life, I think you should set at least 2 goals. It doesn't mean you're going to be focusing on all of these goals all of the time. I think it's great to set 2 goals in each of those areas. Minimum of 2. You can set more if you want, or you can only set 1. Some of them for last year, I set 1 in one area and 3 in others. But I think rounding it out to 14 goals for the year is great. Some are big, some are small, some need habits, some are more measurable. My spiritual growth goals this year is I want to write in my daily prayer journal. So I also developed a prayer journal. I didn't show you that earlier because it's inside. I want to leave it in my spot where I have my coffee every morning so I don't miss it. But I want to write in that daily. In the past of my spiritual growth, it was more about knowledge and taking in. But this year, it's really just about connecting to God in prayer more, asking for more, believing for more. And yeah, it really helps me to write out my prayers. So the prayer journal that I have created has a small space for a prayer. It has a space to put gratitude, and it has a who or what has God put on my heart area, a space to put in the verse. I just use the verse that comes daily from the Bible app and I write that down. It just helps me to memorize scripture. And then it has a full page that you can just use for a journal or writing out prayers. As I've used it regularly the last few weeks, it's really a combination of like journaling and then like praying through some of the things that I'm journaling about, but also just using it as a journal. It's not like specific prayers. So that is how I've been using this journal, and I'm really excited about it. I've been really faithful to it. And you can set these goals for quarter 1, 2, 3, or 4, or end of year. So I have these set. I'm going to move me for a second here so you can see better. But I have this set as an end of year goal, but also as quarter 1, 2, 3, 4, so that when I see it in this tab, that I'm reminded each quarter that those are the things that I want to be working on. So let's go back here to area I also want to do a gospel study. So I completed John already, and I'm in Mark right now, and I want to just really understand the gospels well. I've been doing commentaries and different things on YouTube with it. I may find a book, but that is my first area that I am growing in knowledge spiritually this year. I also want to do a biblical femininity study. A friend passed me on this book. You know, as somebody who's a leader, who likes to control, who likes to plan, who likes to have it her way, I can definitely operate in more alpha female. So I think it'd be good to just develop my feminine side a little bit more. So I want to do this biblical femininity study. And then I also want to do a revelation study, mainly because Jen Wilkin, who's one of my favorite Bible teachers, has a new revelation study out this year. So I want to do that. So you can see I have the gospel study set for Q1, the revelation study set for Q2, and the biblical femininity study set for Q3. I was going to start off with the biblical femininity study, but I decided to start with gospels. Anyways, my personal growth for this year are to read 30 books. And at this point, you might be wondering, what are these percentages here that you have? So when we get to the month, I assign certain monthly goals to my yearly goal. So this is telling me that those monthly goals, which are in this case reading books, I am already 23.3% of the way of meeting that goal. So that'll make sense a little bit more in a second. I want to develop leadership skills, and I want to complete 3 language learning books. Health and wellness, I want to lose 45 pounds this year. It's a lot of weight. I've carried it around pretty much my entire motherhood. I'm not going to talk about it too much here. Maybe I'll share more about my health and wellness goals in another video, but I'm just like, it's no more this year. It's no more. I'm done homeschooling. That has freed up a little bit of time. I'm going to become a fit person, which is my daily exercise identity. I want to be somebody who wakes up and works out. I just don't want to think about it. Like, I just want that to be a regular habit. So you can see for lose 45 pounds, I'm hoping to do that by the end of Q2. And then the daily exercise habit, I have it as an end of year goal tagged for every quarter. So I remind myself that is just who I am. Marriage, again, I want to go on weekly dates. This was a goal for last year. We did better, but we're not off to a great start this year. I'm not going to lie. We're actually going on our first date tonight. So that will be good. And then I also want to do a marriage retreat. I'd love to go away. I don't really see that in the cards for this year, but depending on some of my other goals, if I meet those, that might be. But even if it's just here, having a friend come stay at the house, I really think 3 nights away is something that I want to do with my husband this year. We have obviously not done that since we've had kids. Since we've lived here in Nicaragua, we've gone away 2 times, both times for 1 night only. So I would really love for 3 nights away. Our kids are getting older. I feel like I can do that this year. We've got some more friend support. So I would really, really love to get 3 nights away with my husband. So that is a goal for this year. Motherhood, monthly one-on-ones with my kids. I want to make sure I have one-on-one time with each and every one of them and just be super intentional about that. So for this month, I've already done it with 3 of my kids. I just have 1 more to go. And then say yes more. I like to create a lot of structure and stability. I've already shared, I struggle a little bit with control. So I can often say no to a lot of things. So I want to say yes more, obviously in healthy and supportive ways, but I want to say yes more to my kids. Home, I have 3 goals, but again, these are not big goals because my bigger goal in finances is getting out of debt. And all of these things require to spend money. So paint our house outdoor. The paint is all peeling because we live in a tropical climate. Like, it's just really hard on the paint. It's a protective thing. So it is something that needs to be done, but the paint's probably going to cost, like, paint is not cheap here. The paint is probably going to cost, I don't know, like $500. And it's going to take a lot of time. So we'll see if that happens. So I have it as an end of the year goal. I reassess my goals quarterly, actually monthly, but I can assess if I'm going to move that into a different time slot. Paint our master bedroom and paint our master bathroom. I have the paint for both of these. I just haven't gone around to doing them. So they are not really going to cost me a lot of money, but we had termite issues in our master bedroom. So one of our walls, a good section of it, is destroyed. So yeah, I would just love to paint those things, and not a huge deal because my biggest goal is becoming debt-free this year. Like I said, we have no mortgage, we have no car payments, we have no big debt, but we did have to take on debt for this guest house project. And I just hate being in debt. So I want to be out. So that is the end of the year goal. We make a very modest income. So you'll see in my career that I want to boost up my income, but we do make a very modest income. So it probably will take me the entire year to pay it off unless I can really boost my income this year. But yeah, we'll see. I also want to save $6,000 this year. That doesn't seem like a lot, but again, we make a modest income. Career-wise, I would love to reach 20,000 YouTube subscribers. The reason I gave this 20,000 goals, I'm at like 16,000, and those are all people that found me through my previous content talking about foster care, adoption, minimalism a lot. I still will talk about minimalism. That's a big part of my life still. This goal about 20,000, it's not necessarily about that number, but that it is, I'm reaching the right people with the message that I feel like the Lord has given me to share, that I'm inspiring and encouraging Christian moms. That's really what I want to do with this channel. So yeah, it's really just about, okay, I'm not just making videos to make videos, but it's actually helping people, and people are interested in learning more. So that is where that 20,000 number comes from. And then earn 1,000 a month with Faithful Mothers. You'll see on my vision board, I actually want to earn $4,000 a month. That is my big goal, but I feel like I'm so far away from that. I've neglected all of my online work for a long time that I want to start with earning 1,000 quarter 1 and quarter 2, and then we'll reassess after that and see if we can bump that up. And that would help this goal of becoming debt free. It would also help fund our kids' schooling. We've taken on a big load with them going to private school now, but it's really their only option at this point beyond homeschooling. And I just didn't feel like homeschooling was where we were supposed to be anymore. So let's move down now then into monthly goals. So all of these monthly goals, again, we're going to look at them by area, but they are attached to a yearly goal, so that when I hit complete on read the book of John, for example, because I have done that, I am 33.3% of the way, because there's 4 books in the Gospels, of completing that yearly goal of that study. I'm reading the book of Mark right now, so I am on track for this goal, for example. I've already done my prayer journal 15 times. I was hoping to just do it every other day. I'd like to get this to daily, but for January, I just set it for 15 times. So I can actually mark that off, and then you are going to see here, oh, it is not attached. Okay, so the reason this number is because this number didn't change when I checked that monthly box off is because I haven't actually attached it. So here on this monthly goals tab over here, these are all the different monthly goals I have in there. I want to attach all of these. And that's actually all of these: prayer journal, prayer journal, prayer journal, prayer journal, prayer journal, prayer journal, prayer journal. It's got to be 12 there, right? Okay. There we go. So now you'll see that number's changed because I marked it off. I've already done that 15 times. Obviously, I want to keep going with the habit, but I'm happy if I get 15 times, which is half the month, to start developing that habit. So you're going to see all these prayer journals here. You're going to see the biblical femininity. I've broken it down into, I think it'll take like half a month because most studies are 8 weeks. I haven't looked at it yet, but complete the first half of biblical femininity. So when I do that, 50% is going to show up here. I'll have only another 50% to complete that goal. So as you can see, these, I'm not going to go through all of them for time's sake, but personal development, I wanted to read 30 books and improve my leadership. Some of this is books on leadership. So these are the books that I've read so far already. So this number here says 0% because I didn't assign specific goals. Not all of these goals are going to have tasks. They are kind of a task in themselves, but I've set them as monthly goals because they support my yearly goal, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so I have 30 books, book. These ones I'll just say book. These are books that I've already read. You're going to see these Spanish 5 to 8. So I've broken down the first Spanish book I'm doing. My goal for my yearly goal is to complete 3 language learning books. So the first one I'm doing is this big fat one right here. And I have broken it down into 4 chapters a month in order that I complete it on time. And then I have 2 other books that I'll do. I haven't gone in and put all that information yet because this is a big enough one for now, the beginning of the year. So you'll just see I have Spanish book 2 and Spanish book 3. So I'll break that down a little bit more once we get there. So I'm actually working on, I'm halfway done. So this is a good example here of the tasks. I'm halfway done because I've completed chapter 1 and 2. I have those set as tasks in order to keep me on track. And then 3 and 4 still needs to be done by the end of the month. So got to get going on 3 and 4 in this book. Go back to the top. Health and wellness. I want to lose 8 pounds and exercise 12 times. These are my January goals. So I've already lost 8 pounds. So that's exciting. I've already exercised 12 times, I believe, but I'm going to go check my tasks and double check. But I have that for February as well. I want to exercise every day, but developing a habit takes time, right? And there's going to be days I don't want to be too hard on myself because I didn't complete it. So I'm starting with 12 times for Q1. And then you'll see in Q2 here, I have moved it up to 16 times. So I want to make sure I'm doing that. And you'll see losing the weight, because I know as I lose weight, it's going to get harder. I'm not going to lose as much as you do in the beginning when you don't have as much to lose. This is actually Q2, not Q1. But you're going to see this this goal supports this goal. This monthly goal supports this yearly goal. Extra 16 times. And then by Q3, I want it to be 20 times. Q4, I want it to be 24 times. So that is my health and wellness goals for the year. Marriage, I have written 4 dates in January, 4 dates in February, 4 dates in March. I'm probably already going to fail this one because I don't think we have enough time to do 4 dates already. I want to select the getaway, and there's some tasks associated with that, which we will go through after. And then here, this one is long because I just wrote it in. Instead of doing a daily habit tracker, because it's not necessarily a daily thing, but I have monthly one-on-one with Marissa, with Rosie, with Lilia. I've actually already done it with Marissa, so I'll mark that off now. I still have to do it with Rosie. I've already done it with Lilia and Isaiah, but I have that all the way down throughout the year. It takes a bit of time to set up, but it just helps me stay intentional. And then home, set up projects and timelines for home projects. Again, that's not a focus for Q1. I really think you should take one major area of your life and make that your focus. So for me, health and wellness is Q1's focus. Finances, I want to save $1,000. I have that set in for each month. And then I want to pay off line of credit 2, and there's line of credit 1 here as well. We have our debt broken into 2 line of credits. The interest is lower, but I want to get those things paid off. And then career-wise, again, I want to make $1,000 per month for each month. And as I start making that consistently, I will then up that. But I've just set it to $1,000 per month for the first quarter, 2 quarters of the year, and then I will reassess. And then I have it set for gaining 1,000 subscribers per quarter. So you will see by the end of the year, I want 20,000. By September, I want 19,000. By June, I want 18,000. And by March, I would love 17,000. So go ahead and hit subscribe if you're interested in helping me reach that goal. Okay. From there, our tasks are set to our monthly goals. So again, not all monthly goals have tasks under them. Like reading a book, I'm not going to say read 10 pages, like write that out. That's a little bit redundant. I don't think I necessarily need to do that. However, I am doing that with my exercise because that is my focus for this month. I don't know if I'll continue doing it this way, but that is my focus for this month. I'm going to check that off because that is a vote to the person that I want to be. So I have all my workouts in here scheduled till the end of the month. And then all of the madrigal I need to do, actually, I have it all these workouts scheduled for the first quarter. Because again, that is my focus. It may seem like a lot of work to set it up like that initially, but that's how it helps me. I also have some tasks like arrange babysitting. Supports my monthly goal of selecting a 3-day getaway, which supports my yearly goal of the marriage retreat. And the revelation study, set aside the budget for the getaway. All of these things here are just specific tasks to help me achieve those goals. You're going to see here, these are all quarter 1 tasks. If you see something that's recurring, so scheduling one-on-ones supports my yearly monthly one-on-ones goal, right? With my kids. So if I hit complete here, this is automatically set up to repopulate it to the next month. So you're going to see here, where is it now? It's moved down here because now it's a March 16th thing. So anytime I hit this complete button, this is for recurring tasks only. It will automatically populate how you set it up. So if there's anything recurring that you need to do on a weekly or monthly basis, you set it up as a recurring task. All of these other tasks are one-off tasks. So you're actually going to hit the done button. So I'm going to show you here what happens when you can see it's showing us up next. When I hit done, it changes this to done, the status, and then I just give myself a vote. So it's kind of like a double check. Anyway, so I set up all my goal-based tasks, and you can tag them here as by category. So if you add any tasks here, it's automatically going to populate it as a goal category, but you can add other categories if you want. But you want it to be the goal categories because when we look at it in the monthly view, you can see what needs to be completed on a monthly basis. Okay. I feel like this is getting long, so I want to move through the rest pretty quickly. Now, this habit tracker, you're going to write in all your habits that you want to do. And these are things that are supporting goals on a daily basis. So these are all really focused on the things I want to do in my morning routine, but supporting my fitness goals. So 100 ounces of water, 20 minutes of exercise, 15 minutes of Spanish every day, healthy food, 15 minutes of reading, waking up at 5 a.m., Bible, journaling and planning, walking, taking my supplements, taking apple cider vinegar, oral hygiene, which is like, I'm trying to improve, like I want to do the whole spiel, flossing more, oil pulling, all of that tongue scraping. Just want to bump up my oral hygiene a little bit this year as well, doing all the extra things. So I'm tracking that as well. And then down here, it's telling you how many times since you started tracking. So I started all of this January 8th. I didn't start January 1st. I got a late start, but it's telling you how many times since you started recording. So this is up to you whether you want to track this on just a monthly basis, and you would just delete all of these, or you want to track it on a yearly basis and you can see how many times out of 365 days that you actually completed that specific habit. From here, let me quickly show you what the monthly page looks like. Okay, so when we open up our January page, we have this cute little quote. You can put any quote you want here, but something that's going to inspire you. Consistently compounds, because again, I'm trying to build this daily exercise identity. But it is going to tell me my pending goals and my pending tasks. And if I scroll down a little bit more, it's also going to tell me my completed goals and my completed tasks. So for the month of January, I've already read these books. I've already done my prayer journaling. I've done these monthly one-on-ones. I've lost 8 pounds. I've read this High Road Leadership book, which is supporting my leadership goal. So a lot of these are books that I've already done, but these are the things that I still need to do. But when you break it down this way, it just makes it easier for your brain to comprehend what you need to actually do. On this side, we have tasks. So again, we just went through that. These are the tasks that need to be done only this month to support my goal. I actually have Madrigal 5, 6, and 7 set for the end of this month to hopefully get a head of things, but it's technically a February goal. But if I can get through it, I'd love to do that as well. If not, I'll just change the goal back to February. And then it also tells me all the completed tasks, which at this point is basically just workouts that I've done already. These are showing up here. Here, there is another view of your habit tracker by month. And then at the bottom, again, reflection questions I think are so important. So how would I rate my month out of 10? What went well for me this month? Did I achieve my goals? All of these things. And then there's a place to add images if you want as well. So I hope you found that helpful. I hope you keep me encouraged and motivated. It's kind of like scary and weird putting my life and my goals out on YouTube, but hey, why not? I really want to get fit this year. So you guys got to encourage me to keep going, to be the healthiest version of myself I can be this year. I always take care of everybody else's needs before my own. And this is the year that needs to stop when it comes to my health and fitness, because I'm getting older and I'm starting to feel creaky and I want to feel young and vibrant for as long as possible. I will leave this template linked below if you think this is something that might be helpful to you. Let me know if you get it. We can encourage each other and keep track. I really want to start doing monthly reset videos and show you how I do the reset and check in on all these goals and just see where I'm at, see what I accomplished. That is something I've planned for the channel this year, is to add these fun reset videos. They're some of my favorite videos to watch. I just really think they help you stay intentional in your life. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down below and let me know your biggest goal. Put it down in the comments. I'd love to know your biggest goal for this year. And I want to encourage and cheer you on in that. So make sure you leave a comment. Thank you so much for watching today. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.